Hey everyone, my name is Wedge, and believe it or not, we're almost done with individual Amonkhet previews. I know, time flies when you're having fun. In this video, we're going to look at, believe it or not, some modern playable goodness, another new god, a legendary creature, and a lot more. So sit back and relax as I take you through the crazy world of Amonkhet. I do hope you enjoy the video, and if you do, remember to hit that like button, helps out a lot. Anointed Procession is 4 mana for an enchantment. If an effect would create one or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many of those tokens instead. There are a few things going on here. First, this is our third story spotlight card, and once again, we have Gideon really getting into the nitty-gritty on Amonkhet. It's pretty clear now that this plane isn't full of awesomeness and wonderment like he once thought. If we're talking playability, we're looking at a white Parallel Lives, and I'm okay with that. Parallel Lives actually cost a legitimate amount of dollars, so creating another effect like it, even if it's in a different color, I'll take it. For Commander, if nothing else. It works well with Embalm, which I'm sure is the intention, but come on. You really think this is going to be used for that over something like Risk the Redeemed, or Tristani, or Daxos even? Yeah, no. Anointed Procession is a Commander All-Star, and you can bet it'll be popular there forever. Gotta love the token multipliers, I approve. Rough translation, Glyph Keeper is 3 of anything and 2 blue for a 5/3 Sphinx with flying and Embalm costing 5 of anything and 2 blue. Whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability for the first time in a turn, counter that spell or ability. Wow! Talk about a ridiculously difficult card to get rid of, my goodness. We always joke about creatures dying to removal, but this card, it's going to take a lot of removal to actually get rid of it, not once, but twice each. Remember, it has Embalm, so let's say that your opponent goes through the trouble of throwing 2 spells at it. You just embalm it and they have to do it again. Glyph Keeper has serious staying power in a control deck or any deck looking to make it to the late game. What I've seen a lot of players already mention as well, because it counters the first spell or ability that targets it, you can target it with your -1/-1 triggers and it gets countered. Now that's some value right there. It does open up the Sphinx to removal that turn, but still, you gotta love that synergy. Glyph Keeper is a decent Sphinx that turns into a zombie Sphinx. I mean, you can't go wrong on any front. Love this card. Protection of the Hecma is 5 mana for an enchantment. If a source an opponent controls would deal damage to you, prevent 1 of that damage. Okay, is it just me, or does this wall look a lot more impactful than it is? I mean, artwork-wise? Because in the art, it really looks like the wall is doing a lot of good, and that's impressive. But if we're being real with ourselves, preventing 1 damage from a source is like using a white picket fence to defend yourself. And sure, it's going to save you a bit of damage, but for 5 mana, I don't know. I'd probably rather invest in something else like, a wall that actually does what it says it'll do. God Pharaoh's Barrier? Pfft, I could make something better out of paper mache. Come at me, Bolus. Bontu the Glorified is 3 mana for a 4/6 legendary creature god with menace and indestructible. She can't attack or block unless a creature died under your control this turn. You can also pay 2 mana and sacrifice another creature to scry 1, and each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Above anything else, Bontu is definitely the most difficult god to trigger consistently, which is why when we think in terms of playability, we have to remember that an Aristocrats type deck can still exist in this current meta. And if you can make it work in Standard, you do get a 3 mana 4/6 with Menace. Now, sacrificing a creature every single turn is going to be difficult, but in an Obzan or white-black sack deck, it could work. As already pointed out, cards like Hidden Stockpile and From Beyond are decent enablers. I will say, more than any other god, Bontu requires significant build-around status to be consistently useful, and I'm not entirely sure if that's worth the cost just yet. The jury is still out for me, but I'm leaning towards Bontu being not as good as Rhonas or Aketra. Thoughts? Buy Force is X and 1 red for a sorcery, destroy X target artifacts. Our 4th story spotlight card is just plain bonkers. And obviously, Chandra is the center of attention because if there's one person in the entire multiverse who isn't very subtle about how they feel, it's Chandra. I mean, this is the most obvious hate card I've ever seen in my entire life. It's just plain brutal. Artifact-based decks have no idea what's about to hit them right in the face. Not having to pay double X on Release the Gremlins to mass remove robots is very nice. Buy Force is an absurd anti-artifact card, and beyond that, probably my favorite part of the card, the flavor text. Quote, Dissent? Your gods can't even begin to comprehend the descent that's about to happen here. Chandra Nalaar. Yeah, pretty much what we expected. Go to Bolus's plane, be dissenters, get in all sorts of trouble, nothing could possibly go wrong. It's unbelievable. Harsh Mentor is 2 mana for a 2/2 human cleric. Whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact, creature, or land on the battlefield, if it isn't a mana ability, the Mentor deals 2 damage to that player. Hello? Harsh Mentor is the latest in a long line of red cards that are clearly meant to terrorize Modern. Remember, if the artifact, creature, or land doesn't directly add mana, your opponent is getting shocked. Which means that, Scavenging Ooze, whacked, anything in Affinity, Shock City, anything in Lantern Control, super duper dead, and Fetch Lands. Fetch Lands aren't mana abilities. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to connect the Mentor to Eidolon and stick them both in a red deck. And, the best part of all, Harsh Mentor says an opponent. It doesn't hurt you, ever. Harsh Mentor is absolutely Modern playable. This card is oppressive and a true nightmare. I hate it and I know I'll have to play against it. That's the only part that sucks because it's an absurd card. Sweltering Suns is 1 of anything in 2 red for a sorcery with cycling costing 3 mana. It deals 3 damage to each creature. Hey, Anger of the Gods is back with an Amonkhet twist. There's no exile clause this time around, but there is a sweet cycling ability for when you don't need this at all. We were just talking the other day about how Radiant Flames was still pretty much king at what it did, but in a deck more focused on red, Sweltering Suns is going to 100% do all the work you need it to. The cycling cost is a bit high, but that's the price you pay for top tier red removal. Definitely at least sideboard playable and constructed. That cycling mechanic does give it more flexibility, so it may find its way into main decks, but regardless, a standard card through and through, it's good to see. We missed talking about 1 card earlier this week, so we're going to cover it now. Champion of Rhonas is 4 mana for a 3/3 Jackal Warrior. You may exert it as it attacks. When you do, you may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Well, let's just say hello to the newest iteration of Elvish Piper. Champion of Rhonas has an absurdly powerful exert trigger. Any creature from your hand onto the battlefield, so Ulamog, Honored Hydra, Glyph Keeper, even Tasseled Dromedary, the world is your oyster. You can play whatever you want. And I know the card isn't totally busted, because it is a bit slow, and I'm sure your opponent is going to have removal for it. But if they don't, you're getting one of the most valuable free triggers you can get. Free creatures on the battlefield? Come on! You aren't casting them so they can't be countered. You're playing a green deck, so everything you're doing is big anyways. Look, I think the card is great. If it doesn't find a home in Standard, at least it'll be dumb as all heck in Commander. Probably in something like Carador, or Selvala, or Mile, or Xenaghost. You know what? There are a lot of options here. Champion's actually really good for Commander. Nice. Enigma Drake is 1 of anything, 1 blue and 1 red for a 4 toughness Drake with flying. Its power is equal to the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. I never thought I'd see the day, but we have a contender for the Spellhard Chimera throne, and while the Chimera does bring trample to the party, our new Drake friend brings 4 toughness instead of 3, an ever so important toughness milestone. There's already talk about its inclusion in Modern in some type of blue-red spells deck as a top-end creature due to the fact that it has 4 toughness and can survive a lightning bolt. When Spellhard Chimera was in Standard, there were a few brews that performed decently well, and some fringe decks in Modern that used the Chimera, and if that's possible, then Enigma Drake can absolutely get its 15 minutes in the spotlight. Keep an eye on this card. I see no reason why blue-red spells can't be a cool deck in either Standard or Modern. This is going to be interesting to watch develop, but I am a huge fan. Samut, Voice of Dissent is 3 of anything, 1 red and 1 green for a 3/4 legendary creature human warrior with flash, double strike, vigilance, and haste. Other creatures you control have haste. You can pay 1 white and tap it to untap another target creature. Who designed this card, and how did they design it? Did they get to throw darts at a dartboard of every single keyword, and the dart just happened to hit the corner of a billion of them? Seriously, flash, double strike, vigilance, and haste. 4 keywords, all useful, and Samut grants haste to your entire team, and the card just randomly has white in its color identity to untap another target creature. I mean, clearly it's meant to untap exert creatures, and I get that, I do. But does anyone else find this just totally random? Anyways, if we're talking straight up stats, Samut is powerful. 5 mana for a 3/4 with this many combat keywords, that's quite strong. And I think the Voice of Dissent is going to be a real workhorse on the battlefield. But where it'll really shine? Commander! Believe it or not, there aren't that many popular Naya commanders, and none of them support a human sub-theme all that well, which means that the Naya Humans commander that has yet to exist now exists. It's better than Gahiji in this space, better than Marath, better than Rith, and better than Mile. So yeah, Say hello to Samut, the new Anaya Humans commander. Very nice. Wayward Servant is 1 white and 1 black for a 2/2 zombie. Whenever another zombie enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay, Wizards, look. I thought you were already printing cards that were pretty on the nose, like it was clear that you were pushing zombies, but apparently that wasn't enough. Apparently you had to go 1 step further. Again. Not only is this confirming white-black is a supported tribal archetype, which we already knew, but it's a zombie plague lord. Any other zombie enters the battlefield under your control via embalm or tokens, who cares? Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life? Sure. No problem. Nothing could go wrong there. This is the definition of an embarrassment of riches. I honestly have no idea where I'm going to make cuts in the zombies list. It's becoming a real problem. They put too much in here. The only regret I have is that this doesn't fit into any commander zombie deck. No one tell Dissent and Geralt. They're gonna be mad. Another day, another video, another look at Amonkhet. What do you think of the set so far? Given what we've looked at this week, there has to be something that you've latched onto by now. What excites you the most? Is there anything from today's previews that stick out to you? Do you like more tribal zombie support? Do you like the new Spellheart Chimera? How about Bontu? Or just the stupidly powerful new modern cards? There's a lot going on in this set, so be sure to let me know how you feel in the comments and we'll talk about it. Also, be sure to stay tuned to the channel for the latest and most reliable Amonkhet spoiler information you could ever need. As always, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time. This video is brought to you in part by TCGplayer.com. With excitement for the set at an all-time high, pre-orders have totally jumped from $90 each to $91 each. I know, crazy. We're getting close to release, so if you want to jump on the Amonkhet bandwagon for a totally reasonable price, or you don't have a local game store near you, you've come to the right place. TCG Player has your back. Just click the link on the screen. You'll find the best prices for boxes around. Easy peasy. Let's all get some Amonkhet goodies, shall we? Enjoy.